Also in this video, we're going to talk about how to build your own content style specifically for Instagram. So if you're building your personal brand on Instagram, or maybe you are starting to build one, the first and the most important thing is the content creation itself, right? And the worst mistake that you can make is to start replicating the content from your competitors, right? Now, if I'm saying replicating the content from your competitors, it doesn't mean that you are copying the information that they are providing. It's more about copying the content style that they have, the kind of ideas they are posting, the formats that they have, right? If you start copying those, you will become the second guy to do in your industry, which is really, really bad because you are a follower now. You're not a leader. That's what you have to avoid, right? I'm going to give you some examples, some creators from their own industry, right? And how they have their own styles. So the first example is Mark Tilbury. You must have seen his content on YouTube, right? But on Instagram, he's doing something different. So his videos, he got his own format. And rather than sitting in front of the camera and talking about his topics, he is doing some kind of an activity while, explaining some topic, right? For example, if I have to show you some brief.
You wake up in a house you're taxed to own. You buy a morning coffee and you're taxed. You drive to work in a car that's taxed on roads that are taxed.
So you can see that this is being followed in every one of his videos, right? And this is what makes his content different from the masses. If someone starts copying his content from business niche, right? We will, our subconsciously we will have an understanding that that guy is following Mark because he kind of has a copyright on this type of content in our minds, right? So this is his style. Let me show you another example from fitness niche. Now this is Noel. He got like 6.1 million followers, right? And the number of views that he gains, it's ballistic. He got like 123 million views, 19 million views, 60 million views. And the content he creates in fitness is way different from his competitors, right? He doesn't just talk about physical fitness. He talks about mental fitness as well. And that's why his content topics are way broader than just, in fitness niche. So you can see that the type of content that he posts is a bit of raw plus cinematic kind of a content, right? And we can see some comedy sketch through his content as well. But again, if someone start replicating his content strategy, his content style, formats, we will subconsciously have in our mind that this guy is following Noel, right? If I have to show you one more example, now this is Max. And Max is from in the trading industry, right? And the content format he follows is more like a reaction video, where he basically react to videos and then he gives his unfiltered opinion on that topic, right? And that's what enhances his personality more because this kind of format is suitable for his personality. And you can see that the number of views he's getting is he's pretty consistent, and the feed is it's almost same because each and every video is based on a similar format, right? So if anyone from trading industry starts trading these kind of videos, obviously we will call subconsciously that guy a second guy to do it, right? Because Max has kind of a copyright to this type of content. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to build our own content style through these. So before explaining that, right, I want you to understand that what makes a real idea, what makes a content idea, because it's important that I just walk you through with this, right? Because I'm going to talk about different kind of formats. So you guys have an understanding that how and why format works. The idea is basically based on three pillars, right? The topic, the format, and the storytelling. And now, rather than explaining all of this, let me show you one reel so that I can dissect that reel and explain all of these pillars.
Poor closer versus rich closer. So John, how much money did you make last year? 100K. 100K? That's awesome, John. Congratulations. Cool. And how much money did you earn last year? 100K. Interesting. When you say interesting with that tonality, the prospect goes from thinking that they are God's gift to questioning whatever it is they just told you. Is 100K really a lot of money? Was I supposed to have more? Do I want more? Why haven't I got more? To sell someone.
So this reel has gained like 800, 900,000 views, and the creator has found his own content style through this reel, right? You can see that it's very different from other sales content creator, right? So the topic in this video is closing. The topic format is storytelling, right? Three pillars. The topic in this reel is closing. And again, I don't think that I need to explain what topic is, what you're actually talking about, right? Now, if topic is what you're talking about, the format is how you're talking about it, right? You have to understand that the video style, the structure, each and everything. This is called a format. What kind of setup your video has. And the setup this video has, the format this video has, it's a comparison style. We can see that the split screen, right? On the left side, we can see a poor closer, right? On the right side, we can see a rich closer, right? This is the format that he basically, presented. A comparison spirit is key. So this is what actually one of the format is. As for the storytelling is the hook, script, and creative execution that makes it engaged, right? For example, in this video, the kind of storytelling the creator use, it's a scenario based, right? He, rather than explaining that topic of closing uh, by sitting in front of the camera and just talking about it, he created a scenario. We basically reacted, right? We can see a poor pros acting, we can see a rich pros acting as well, and then the scenario will actually followed by a talking head, right? That way, the meal itself is completed and it has gained good number of views. So this is how idea is actually created. So in this video, what we are going to do, we are going to dissect the format part, right? This is because this is the this is a 70% thing that you can do, right? Because this will make you stand out. If you are building your own style through views, the content idea which you basically own, and it works as well, then you will have to work on format. You will double down on the format. Then the storytelling comes, right? So let me just first explain that what kind of strategy that you have to use in order to nail this approach, right? So this is what I actually use: creative format based ideas. This is going to be a base of your own content style, right? Based on this, you have to ideate content. Now these ideas are unique to the creator and often becomes their signature, right? As we have seen Max from trading industry, right? We have seen Mark Tilbury from a business industry. They got their own signature style. They are built around a repeatable storytelling structure rather than a one-off video. Their content flows. Their signature actually flows throughout the content, right? Each and every present that specific feeling and the signature of the content creator, right? That's how we actually relate to that content creator. Now, obviously, it has its pros, but it also has its cons as well, right? The pros is obviously highly scalable and ownable, right? It built around a repeatable framework. You don't actually have to sit and ideate each and every day. You got a format ready. You just have to inject your topics again and again. More storytelling driven, right? Requires deep audience connection. But the con obviously it takes time to build because it's not based on trends, right? It's not based on some trending topics or anything like that. It's a work. It's basically a structure where you're welcoming your audience towards your personality. Now, if I have to give you some example, format could be anything. It could be a challenge. It could be a comparison, right? It could be maybe uh, I'd say a series. So formats could be anything, but you have to keep this in mind that how you're using that format with your personality and the type of content that you're creating. And if I have to give you some, you know, good examples, right? The creators who have built their whole personal brands based on one content style, right? So here are some examples. The first one is Dr. Julie Smith. Now, Dr. Julie Smith uses a content style which something I call object and knowledge, right? Let me just play some of her reels.
Is 3 signs that your friends are not really your friends. Number 1, when something good happens in your life, they act differently towards you, and you suddenly realize this isn't friendship, this is a competition, but a competition you didn't know you were in. Number 2, they never apologize or take responsibility when they hurt you. And number 3,
now you can see that this talking head video, right? She's a psychologist, right? But the content she is creating is way different from the other informative content, right? Like everybody out there, they are just sitting in front of the camera and just explaining their topics, right? But she has built a format of her own. She is using random objects to basically convey her topic, and you can see the number of views she's getting. She's getting millions of views per week, and this is what I call object and knowledge, right? She's using objects to basically convey her topic. So whenever we see any type of content based on that format, the first thing which comes in our mind is Dr. Julie Smith. If I have to give you another example, this is Tony, right? And he's a trainer. Let me show you some of his reels.
What do you think is worse for you? Smoking a pack of these every day, or what I'm doing right now, just sitting? According to new research, this might be worse than we thought. Researchers tracked people's daily step counts to see if how much they moved throughout the day could predict.
Now, you can see that, again, a different type of content, not a typical talking head videos, right? This is what I'm talking about. So the content style that Tony follows, it's something relatable question drop. What he actually do in all of his videos, right? He start the video with some kind of a relatable question drop, right? Maybe he starts a video with some kind of a clip. Maybe he's reacting to a clip. Then he drops some kind of relatable question to regarding to that topic of the clip. So that's how audience expect the type of content that they are going to consume while scrolling through his social media. So this is what you have to keep in your mind, that the format, it basically sets the expectations for the audience. And you can see the number of views he's getting. He's doing really, really good. The third example is this is Zack Chugg, and he recently went very viral. The content style he basically follows is object analogy, like Dr. Julie Smith plus ASMR. Let me play some of his reels.
This is 1 kg of fat. It's days to gain, but weeks to lose. All it takes is 3 to 4 days of overeating. And over time, this turns into this. Your fat cells store this fat as triglycerides, which expand and stretch to hold more fat. Losing this fat takes longer because stubborn fat areas like your belly and your thigh have less blood.
So Zach is from fitness industry, and you can see that the type of content that he's creating. It's really, first of all, it's something which we don't usually see every day. Even if we are talking about the formats, right? This is way different, right? This is creative. He got like 1.8 million followers, and you can see that the content he's creating, he's not just talking about a certain topic. He is using random objects to basically convey the information, right? And it's not just that. We can see kind of an ASMR as well, right? That sound of the products he's using, right? He's just slapping things on, which is making us, feel that ASMR. So this is the format from Zack Chugg. The last format, if I have to give you an example, this is Jerry Lee, right? And the content style that he follows is serialized. And believe me, he has built 1.4 million followers with this one format, right? Let me play his video.
So this is my journey to not be a failure to my Asian parents. Day 1 of getting 1 million new users in 6 months. Back in January, we forecasted and told our investors that we would be at 2.1 million users by the end of 2024. And this is...
So what Jerry is actually doing, right? And he could have created a different kind of a content, right? But he created a serialized content, right? Each and every one of his reel is basically connected to another. So then how audience kind of becomes addicted to his content, right? Because it's episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I think he surpassed episode 500 or 600, I don't know. But the thing is that he is consistent with his content, and you can see that as a viewer, I can expect this type of content from his account, right? So this is what a formatted content looks like, a content style of their own, right? I'm pretty sure that there are some creators whom you are inspired from, and maybe you are planning to replicate their content, right? Just make sure that do not replicate their styles if they are from your own industry. For example, if you're a trader and you're inspired from a trader who's creating a good content, do not copy his style, because again, that second guy thing will be the second guy. And as for the main thing, right, how to actually generate creative format based idea. How can you obviously create your own signature style, right? So I'm going to try to wrap this up in 4 to 5 steps so that it will be easier for you to, replicate this. Up till now, I'm pretty sure that you guys have some kind of context in your mind that how you're going to, steal the formats from your competitors from outside of your industry, not inside. So first of all, there are types of creative formats that you can copy. I'm going to first give you some examples of the other formats, right, which you can literally copy right now, and they're easier to execute. So the first one is the interview style. Example is street questions, right? Now, again, it depends on your personality as well. If you are kind of an introvert guy, this is not for you, obviously. But if you are an extrovert, this is our winning form. Let me give you some example of what I'm talking about. This one right here.
Excuse me, do you have a dream? Can we help you make it happen?
This is a deep question. I don't know.
You're young.
So this is all the interview style, right? You can follow that. The second format that you can actually copy for your content is really easy to execute. It's a point of view scenario based style where you'll be going to basically, react, or maybe, create it's kind of like you will create some kind of a scenario where you will play your audience, right? So that they can feel you. Let me just play one video.
Dude, the world is on fire. 90% of my kitty cat tokens are down. 90%. Japan is down too? Shit, how much of Japan am I holding?
Now the third one is 2 characters, 1 light bulb. Again, it's more like a scenario based, but rather than creating some one-off content, you are creating maybe 2 characters, right? And both of those characters are actually presenting a kind of an audience, right? But still, if I have to show you some example, this one's right here.
How much does it cost to make one Xbox?
About $700.
Great, let's sell it for $500.
For $500.
How do you expect us to make money then if it costs us $700 just to produce 1 unit?
Trust me, watch.
So this is the 2 characters, 1 light bulb, right? Now, as for the object-based explanations, I feel like that I've given you the example. Dr. Julie Smith, she uses object analogy, right? Now, again, endless possibilities. You can see a lot of creators, even just go through your Instagram now, and you'll see a lot of creators who are using a similar type of content. That's their own style. While scrolling, while looking at their content, try to understand that how you can just steal this format for your own industry. So this is what you have to do. Now, the main question comes where to find creative format inspiration. Now, again, as I mentioned, study how top creators develop their unique video styles. Go, for example, if the example that I've given you, start with those, right? Go through their content, check out their format, whether you guys can replicate that for your industry or not. If it's something which assists your personality, right, then do it. If you think that's something which is against your personality, obviously you're not going to do it. You have to create a type of content where you don't get exhausted. So do that. Again, reverse engineer and dissect successful formats. Every piece of content that you're looking at where you feel like, that I can, there's a possibility that I can replicate that. Start dissecting it. You have to do that, right? Explore outside of your niche. The broader, the better. For example, Jimmy Kimmel's Mean Tweets, right? I really like this format where, celebrities come and they kind of, read mean tweets from internet. And you can see the Mr. Beast challenge format, Ryan Chan's Penny series. That's also a kind of a format. You can also use niche plus format formula to search on TikTok and Instagram. Now, what is niche plus format formula? Now, what you have to do, you have to use two words to, search on Instagram and TikTok, especially on TikTok, because it really works well on TikTok as compared to Instagram. What you have to do, you have to use a niche word plus a format. Now, what niche word? Niche word is from your, maybe add some kind of industry, maybe a trading. Niche could be a trading, could be a drop shipping. It could be a fitness, right? It could be finance, could be anything, right? This is niche, right? As for the format could be maybe a challenge. I'd say reaction, right? Testings. If I have to show you one chart that I've created, this one right here, let me just show you this. You can see that the topics on the left side and the formats on the right side, right? Content marketing is a topic industry, personal branding, fitness, health, technology, AI tools, do it for yourself crafts, right? Parenting, beauty. These are all the topics. And on the right side, we got formats. Formats could be hacks, tutorials, case studies, transformation stories, explainers, before and after challenges, hacks, reviews, tutorials. Like all of these are, formats. And I think that if you want this, it's this talk I can send you, but I feel like that you can easily take out some from ChatGPT as well. So this is what you're going to basically do. Just go through the content, right? Understand what kind of formats is being used in videos, right? In a piece of content that you're looking at, and then just try to, steal that format for your own industry, right? Now, how to create and own a new format, right? First, select inspired format. The second step that you need to do, you don't have to replicate and copy that format right away, unless and until you have properly dissected it, right? And the best thing that you can do is compare best and worst performers and write the performance drivers, right? What you have to do, you have to scroll through their content. For example, let's say if I am inspired from the object analogy format from Dr. Judy, right? And I've got a client who's in trading industry, and I feel like that, I can show some kind of a content using objects, right? So if I have to do some kind of a dissection on her content, what I'm going to basically do, I'm going to scroll through all of her content and see for the best performers and the worst performers. And then I will compare both of these reels, that why best performance is actually best and the worst has performed so much bad, right? Now, why this will work? Because the format is a stage which is being used in every one of her reels, right? She's using objects in every of her reels, but still we can see that, some of her videos have performed very well, 1.3 million, 1.4 million, 2 million views, right? But some of her reels have failed, like 300 views, 200 views. For a creator at a beginner level, 200,000 views is more than enough. But the caliber that Dr. Judy Smith has as a content creator, she got a good number of followers, right? So 200,000 views is really a bad performer for her. So this is what I'm going to consider. So what I'm going to basically do, I'm going to look both of these reels, and let me just, show you two reels, and I'm going to try to give you some idea that why the worst one has performed so bad, right? And why the best one has performed so good. Let me just play two reels. So first, this reel. She's again using objects in this reel, right? And Apple and the Cookie, right? The video title is Apple and the Cookie, and the video has gained like a 200,000 something views, right? Let me play this reel and let's watch this one, right?
I want to introduce you to the apple and the cookie. If you want to make a positive change in your life, you've got to hear this. The cookie is your old life, your old habits, your old relationships you don't want anymore. They taste really good, but you know they're bad for you. The apple is that positive, healthy change that you're trying to make. Here's where it gets interesting. When you eat the apple, if your focus is still on the cookie, then your natural reaction is going to be to compare the two.
Now, this video has been, like, as I mentioned, 200,000 views, something like that, right? But if I have come to compare this video right here with this one. Now, this video has gained like around 2 million views, right? And again, still she's using objects in her video, same as the previous one. But again, this one has performed well. So this is what we're going to look at, why this one has performed so well.
If you see yourself as a bit of a people pleaser, I'm a psychologist, and I want you to imagine for a moment that this is you. Every time you allow someone to trample over your boundaries in order to be liked by them, it's a bit like doing this. And every time you change yourself just to keep others happy, it's like that. And when you betray your own values just to fit in.
Also, the video on the left side, which has performed bad, like 200,000 something views. I think that the analogy that she is using, which is, talking about apple and the cookie, right? I think it's kind of, it's kind of enacted, right? And it's something which is expected, right? And I mean, we know that obviously cookie is unhealthy and apple is healthy. So I feel like that audience knows that where the content is actually going. As for the other one, where we can see that she's using a Jenga tower, and Jenga tower it's a game itself is, it builds tension, right? And you can see that other than that, it's obviously it has movements as well, and we can see that she's basically moving blocks one by one, right? And the first thing which is coming in a viewer's mind, that is it gonna fall or not? So it builds a curiosity, it builds that tension, right, in viewer's mind. But on the left side, where she's just holding cookie and the apple, it's something which is static, right? It's not that in depth, and the topic really matters. But again, we are talking about the formats, and I feel like that if the object analogy, obviously object analogy is the main character, right? It's the main essence of the video. So you have to keep this in your mind, whatever the format that you are scheming, right? If you are building, just make sure that understand the essence of that format, right? For example, in object analogy, the objects that we are presenting is obviously something which will build some kind of attention, right? It must complement the topic that we are conveying while explaining, holding that object or using that object. And yeah, this is how you're going to basically dissect formats, right? After finalizing that this is the format that is good for you. Now, remove the topic. What you have to do, again, you have dissected the format, right? What you have to do, remove the topic, and you will left with a blank format, right? If for example, if we are talking about object analogy, right? I will just remove the topic of psychology. I'm going to remove the character, which is Dr. Julie. I'm just going to try to feed my own topic and the character that I have into that content and see that how it comes out, right? Use list of performance drivers or psychology behind them, right? Now, performance driver is something, again, the points that I've mentioned, the active analogy or inactive analogy, right? At the static object or the moving object, right? This is what performance drivers are. So do not get confused with this. Always have a hooked copy on top. You must be some kind of some kind of a written copy on your video to basically engage the audience more, because there is a big percentage of the audience on Instagram who just expose the content on mute mode. So you have to win that audience as well. Introduce a repeatable storytelling structure. Again, just keep on creating content and see how things goes. Now, as for the next step, how to direct and record for maximum engagement, right? This is something where you will have to keep some things in your mind while writing a script or maybe recording that video. First of all, avoid using jargons in the copy. This is what you have to do, because if you start using jargons, right, you're going to kill a big number of audience out there, the beginners. So you have to keep this in mind. Avoid packaging your topics in a super niche way. You have to make sure that they are not super niched, right? It's good that you're representing your industry. That's another thing, right? But again, the type of information that you have, it could be so in depth that audience can, even from your own industry, audience can not relate to it because you are talking too in depth. Camera angles, lighting, pacing. Obviously, I think I don't actually have to mention this. Shoot one scene at a time. This is really important. And last, understand the essence of the format while recording. Now, this is that I've mentioned in the last pointer as well. Like, for example, if I have to talk about two characters, one liker, right? This rewriter where you basically portray two characters to convey your content. What you have to do, you have to keep one thing in mind that both acts must be recording different appearances of the characters, right? For example, if you are playing two characters, one is dumb, one is beginner, right, and the one is expert, which is you, right? So the dumb character, he must have some kind of a different appearance as compared to the expert one, because visually it will really help the audience to understand what's going on, right? These are little things, but it really matters. So this is how you can basically build your own content style. And not only that, let me just show you one example, a kind of format that I have come up with for one of my client, right? And if you want to replicate that, you can replicate that as well. I don't have any kind of problem with that. So the format that I've come up with is something that it is something which I am inspired from this format from Jimmy Kimmel's content, right? Jimmy Kimmel's read mean tweets. So what I've actually done here, let me show you the card. This is an idea which I have basically I've come up with after getting inspired from that Jimmy Kimmel's formats. And you can see that let's fix your trading to other part one. Now we can see that in that format where Jimmy Kimmel's welcomes the host and they kind of read mean tweets from the internet, right? So yeah, based on that, what I've actually done here, I have a client whose name is Ethan Garland, right? He's a trader. The idea that I've ideated, the format that we've come up with, right, is something that where he will go through the Reddit, right? And it's going to be a reaction based kind of video, like he's reading something, right? And he will just go through the Reddit and he will, scroll through some beginners who are facing some kind of an issue in their trading, right? They've added some kind of picture that they are confused what's actually happening or something like that. Any pain point that they are faced. And what Ethan is going to do, he's going to basically, answer and solve their problem with that piece of content, right? This is going to be something like he's reading from his phone, right? He's reading their pain point and then, just putting the phone down and just explaining that how they can come up with a solution for that pain point, right? So this is kind of an idea which I come up with, and you can see the script is written here. It's kind of a pointer based. Obviously, the main solution is going to be given by a trader because he's expert in his industry. So this is one of the idea that I have, I've come up with, and obviously I've dissected some other formats as well. Some other pieces of content I've kind of compared the best and the worst performance as well, right? And based on that, this is what we have come up with. And yeah, we will see that how it goes. And based on that, we will make our next decision. Plus point of that is that we can, replicate that video idea again and again. Like let's fix your trading together, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So it will just go on and on and on, right? So this is how you can basically come up with your own content style, right? So just make sure that it's good to copy. It's not bad, but just make sure, get inspired from the creator outside of your niche as a content creator, right? So yeah, this is how you can build your own content style and you can become a leader of your own industry rather than, getting to be the second guy. So yeah, if you want this doc, let me know. I'll send it to you. If you want that format doc, I'll send you that as well, right? Signing off. Thank you.